Hey everyone, welcome back! Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating mysteries about human intelligence. Have you ever stopped and wondered why humans built civilizations, invented technology, and created the internet, while every other animal on Earth didn't? Well, today we're going to break that down in a way that's actually mind-blowing. Lately, if you scroll through social media, you might have seen these crazy videos of chimpanzees or monkeys casually vlogging just like us. Now, obviously, those videos are AI generated. But it begs a really fascinating question. Why can't a chimp or a monkey pick up a camera and vlog in real life? Why are humans the only ones who can start a YouTube channel, scroll through Instagram, or build the internet? In today's video, we are going to dive deep into the ultimate mystery. What exactly makes humans the smartest creatures on planet Earth? For the longest time, people just assumed that bigger brains meant a smarter animal. The logic makes sense, right? A bigger brain means more neurons. Neurons are basically the building blocks of the brain. One single neuron doesn't do much on its own, but when you combine all of them, they create consciousness. Think of it like raindrops. One drop is just a drop, but put billions of them together and you get an entire ocean. It's because of these neurons that we can speak, think, and store memories. But if brain size was everything, humans wouldn't be running the world. On land, the elephant holds the title for the biggest brain. It's about 4 times heavier than ours. And in the ocean, the whale's brain dwarfs even the elephant's. Yet neither of them are building skyscrapers or writing code. Let's look at another comparison. A chimpanzee and a cow. If you put their brains side by side, they are actually pretty similar in size. But the intelligence gap is massive. Chimps are highly intelligent. They understand sign language, they hunt in organized groups, and you've probably seen videos of them grooming each other. Meanwhile, cows are, well, pretty simple creatures. They eat, they sleep, they wake up, and they chew their cud. That's about it. So, if intelligence isn't just about the physical size of the brain, what is the secret? Scientists decided to compare the great apes, humans, chimps, gorillas, and orangutans, and they found something super interesting. Gorillas have bodies that are several times larger than humans, but their brains are significantly smaller than ours. They realized that in this specific group, intelligence seemed to rely on a ratio, the size of the brain compared to the weight of the body. If you divide the brain size by the body weight, the higher the resulting score, the smarter the animal. Because a gorilla's body is so massive, their overall score is actually lower than a chimpanzee's, even though the gorilla's brain is physically larger. And in the wild, this checks out. Chimps are far better at using tools than gorillas. But wait, why didn't this rule apply to the cow or the elephant? The mystery was finally solved when scientists compared rodents, like mice and guinea pigs, with primates, like chimps, gorillas, and us. Here's the massive difference. In rodents, as the brain gets bigger, the neurons themselves just physically get larger. But in primates, as the brain gets bigger, the number of neurons increases. Intelligence isn't about the size of the neurons, it's strictly about the quantity. The more neurons you pack into a brain, the smarter the animal. And the human brain? We are rocking an estimated 86 to 100 billion neurons. Case closed, right? We have the most neurons, so we win. Well, not exactly. Because an African elephant actually has around 250 billion neurons. So, why aren't elephants smarter than us? Here is the absolute game changer. Both humans and cows share basic bodily functions. We breathe, our hearts beat, we digest food, we sleep. But humans also do high-level intellectual work. We think, we create art, we read books, we strategize. All of that high-level thinking happens in a specific part of the brain called the cerebral cortex. So, it doesn't actually matter how many neurons you have in your entire brain. What matters is how many neurons you have in the cerebral cortex, the absolute command center for intelligence. And humans? We have a staggering 16 billion neurons packed into our cerebral cortex. That is more than any other animal on the planet. And that is exactly why we are the smartest. So, the obvious next question is, why us? Why do humans get this hypercharged cerebral cortex? First, we have an incredibly long developmental process. Have you ever noticed how completely helpless human babies are when they're born? A baby calf or foal will literally start walking and jumping around just hours after being born. But a human baby? It takes them 8 months to a year just to take their first steps. This is because human babies are born with drastically underdeveloped brains. It takes about 5 to 10 years for a human brain to properly develop, and nature decided you just can't stay in the womb for that long. The second reason is our DNA. We have specific genes that no other animal possesses. The first one is called ARHGAP11B. Think of this gene as the foreman of our brain's neuron factory. It's entirely unique to humans, and it tells our stem cells to aggressively multiply and create neurons. How do we know this? Scientists actually injected this exact gene into ferrets, a mammal with a naturally smooth, flat brain. And suddenly, the ferrets started producing a massive human-like amount of neurons. Then there's SRGAP2C, another human-exclusive gene. This one creates synapses, which are the connection points between two neurons. It essentially acts as a superhighway, rapidly expanding the communication network in our brains. And we can't forget FOXP2. This is the gene that allows us to use complex language and explain things, exactly like I'm doing in this video right now. Most animals learn purely by mimicking the adults around them. You will never see an animal sitting its kids down to give them a lecture on how life works. But humans do it every day, thanks to FOXP2. The third factor is our neuron building system. Human brains contain special stem cells called outer radial glia cells. Most animals don't have these. Their only job is to pump out massive amounts of neurons directly into the cortex. To give you some perspective, one single stem cell in a mouse might produce 1 or 2 neurons. In a human, a single stem cell can pump out 10 or more. And finally, reason number 4, and this one is mind-blowing. The human brain is incredibly eco-friendly. Our neurons have fewer ion channels, which basically means they require way less fuel to operate. Think of the human brain like a high-efficiency LED bulb. It barely uses any electricity, but it shines incredibly bright. Why is this important? Well, even though your brain only makes up about 2% of your body weight, it consumes a whopping 25% of all the calories you eat in a day. Neurons are hungry. If our brains weren't highly efficient energy savers, if they burned energy like a normal animal brain, we would have to eat an ungodly amount of food every single day just to survive. Take a second to imagine that. What would human life even look like if we had to spend 90% of our waking hours just eating to keep our brains powered? Let me know your theories down in the comments below. And now that we understand how powerful and efficient the human brain really is, anyway, I'll leave you with this funny thought. Humans are the absolute smartest animals on Earth, and ironically, we are the only animals on Earth with enough brain power to sit around and wonder why we're the smartest. Thanks so much for watching. Stay curious, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video.